And welcome everyone to our weekly AP Top 25 reaction. I'm Andy Katz here on Bleacher Report, and of course this will be repurposed on NCAA.com as well as our March Madness men's basketball social media platforms. All right, let's take a look at the AP Top 25. We're going to compare that to my Power 36, look at my team and player of the week, games to watch, and then of course we will take your questions. Right off the top, UConn with a dominating performance on Sunday over Xavier. Purdue the same against Rutgers. Rutgers made a late surge at the end, and then Purdue was able to snap a three-game losing streak. So no problem with UConn, 1, Purdue 2. They're the two best teams in the country right now, and I think locks to be number 1 seeds. After that, North Carolina and Houston. North Carolina is the class of the ACC. They're undefeated. They've got the monster game against Duke this week, which we will address. No problem again with them in that third spot. They are looking like a number 1 seed as well right now. Houston at the 4 spot in the poll. I think right now they're a number 1 seed as well. No issues there. Tennessee, Wisconsin. I think it's great to see the Badgers at 6. Same with the Volunteers. Wisconsin is leading the Big Ten. They have a Final Four roster. They definitely could get there. Duke, Kansas. I got an issue with Kansas right off the bat. Kansas should not be in the top 10. 4-3 in the Big 12 does not get you in the top 10 of the AP poll. Remember, the AP poll, their rankings, their opinions, the bracket, the seeding, those are based on the real analytics. This is much more subjective. So, Kansas got to get out. Marquette, Kentucky, Arizona, Iowa State, Creighton, Illinois, Texas Tech, Auburn lost 2 in a row. They should drop more. Utah State, Baylor, New Mexico, Florida, Atlantic, Dayton, BYU, Oklahoma, Alabama, and TCU. Okay, Oklahoma should be out. They are really struggling right now. They should not be ranked. Kansas should drop. I'd say those are the 2 most egregious things here in this week's edition. But let's compare it to what I did. Let's start with the beginning of my Power 36, please. As you see there, difference of opinion on a couple teams. Right off the bat, I put Houston at 6 based on them losing 2 in a row. You can quibble with me 4 through 6. I'm fine with that. Alabama, 1 loss in the SEC. That loss was to Tennessee. They're playing their best basketball of the season. Mark Sears is playing like an All-American. I have no problem with them. Duke should have been dropped a little bit. Lost, split the week, if you will, and had a great comeback win over Clemson at home. 13 through 24. There you see Texas Tech. I think they should be right there. Where are the Wildcats in the top 25? Beat Illinois in overtime and absolutely throttled Ohio State. So I think Northwestern should be there. I have them there. New Mexico at 16. Absolutely hammered Nevada after winning road games in their league. I don't care who they're against. They're road games. Air Force and San Jose State. There you see I dropped Kansas, moved TCU, dropped Auburn, Utah State, K-State, BYU, South Carolina. South Carolina has 1 loss. 1 loss. Okay? And that loss in the SEC was to Tennessee. Also lost to Clemson, but I'm saying in the SEC. I'm sorry, lost to Alabama. Lost to Alabama in the SEC. 25 through 36. St. Mary's. They're playing their best basketball of the year. They got a big showdown with Gonzaga coming up. We'll talk about that in a moment. Playing at a high level. Florida Atlantic, they're beating up against bad teams right now and giving up a lot of points. So I still have them ranked, but I don't think they're a top 25 team right now. Virginia's starting to play much better basketball, and Indiana State. arguably one of the dark horses around the country that's not getting the love that it deserves. Indiana State, I think, could be a team that's going to win a couple games in the tournament, assuming they get in. All right. So let's go to my team of the week right now. Team of the week, Houston. Houston beat West Virginia, then they lost 2 in a row in the Big 12. Sort of an eye-opening experience for the Big 12. And then they've settled in. Now they're in position to challenge for that Big 12 title, without question. Player of the week from North Carolina. He's having a All-American Player of the Year type year. It's going to be Zach Edey, who's been sensational. But R.J. Davis right now has to be a first-team All-American. 36 against Wake, over 20 in their road win at Florida State. So R.J. Davis playing at a high level. In fact, right now, I think your 5 All-Americans would be Zach Edey, R.J. Davis, Boo Buie, Dalton Knecht from Tennessee, and Tristan Newton from Connecticut. I think that could be your first-team All-American list at this moment in time. All right, let's look ahead to the games to watch. Games to watch this week. Saturday is off the charts. Off the chart. Look at this triple header that ESPN has. Houston at Kansas, Tennessee at Kentucky, Duke at Carolina. 1, 2, 3 from 3 to 1. Unbelievable. You got a Big 12 title type game, SEC title type game, although Alabama has something to say about that. The title type game in the first week of February. Purdue at Wisconsin. That's the first of 2 meetings. They meet again on March 10th in Mackey in West Lafayette. This game will come after Purdue hosts Northwestern on Wednesday. I'll be there for that one. That's the return game after Northwestern beat Purdue in overtime back in December. Wisconsin, earlier in the week, will go to Nebraska. So there's a good chance, let's assume Purdue wins at home, and if Wisconsin loses at Nebraska, they'll be tied for first for that Sunday. UConn at St. John's. UConn's going to win the Big East, but this is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere at Madison Square Garden. Pitino, Hurley, they've had some words, certainly about next season's game. Pitino wants it at Carnesecca to have more of an advantage. There's going to be more UConn fans. No question there's going to be more UConn fans at the Garden. Great atmosphere. Saturday night, UConn St. John's. St. Mary's Gonzaga is the 4th game for ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, after Duke Carolina. And that always is a great rivalry, first of 2 matchups. And the Zags need this. They're trailing. They lost to Santa Clara, so they're a game behind the Gales. They can't fall 2 games behind St. Mary's with 1 to play against them. All right, Texas TCU. TCU had the triple overtime win over Baylor. And to answer a question that flew by about why don't I have Baylor ranked, they've lost 3 in a row. Texas Tech's in first place right now in the Big 12. So great matchup right there. San Diego State at Colorado State. San Diego State has struggled on the road in the Mountain West Conference. Lost their last 2 on the road. Colorado State suffered an unbelievable loss at Wyoming, down up 11 with 53 seconds left, and they lose it. So this is an important game for the Rams. Real important. Drake at Indiana State. Drake beat Indiana State the first matchup in Des Moines. So if Indiana State wants to win the regular season, they got to win this game. They're the better team, no question. But Drake has matched up well with them. So this is a really important game, obviously, for the Sycamores. Then we got Princeton at Yale. 2 best teams in the Ivy outside of Cornell. Cornell knocked off Princeton. So Cornell is undefeated. So if Princeton loses this game, there's a good chance they're going to fall 2 games behind Cornell. So this is a pretty big game for the Tigers. All right, let's take some of these questions. Someone asked me, how can Kentucky be 10th? I think part of it is they lost to South Carolina, so they split their week. So that's the answer. Yes, Dave Baglett. Edie is a National Player of the Year, no contest, generational player. I agree with you. How many games can New Mexico win in March? Asks for Duke. Lobos have one of the best backcourts in the country with House, Mashburn, Dent. Joseph is playing well inside. They can get to the Sweet 16, no question. By the way, they're going to have a pretty good seed if they keep winning like this. So I disagree with you, Mountain West basketball, about Edie won't do anything in the league. I disagree. He's a better basketball player. There's going to be a role for him. He's got to go to the right team. Blake Klassen asked me, what about Johnny Furphy? I like Furphy at the beginning of the season. It took him some time to get in the lineup for Bill Self to trust him. And he's going to he'll be a major factor for the Jayhawks going forward. Tar Heel for Life says, do you like Andy Katz, Seth Davis better? Well, that's a tough call. I don't know. Who do you like? We get mistaken for each other, even though I don't think we look alike. So I guess do I choose Seth in that matchup? All right, Texas Tech. Are they going to win the Big 12 is the question. It's going to be tough. They still have a lot of tough road games to come. They played great. Grant McCaslin has done an outstanding job. He's a Big 12 Coach of the Year candidate. So this game will be pretty close, I think, at TCU. Elijah Keck says Dalton Connect deserves Player of the Year. I think in any other year, he'd be right there to win it. But you cannot deny what Zach Edey is doing. His numbers are off the charts. Most surprising poll result asks Weston Werbert. It is that Kansas didn't drop more out of the top 10 at 4-3 in the Big 12, the biggest one. Yeah, I mean, Big 12 teams being highly underrated asks, I can't even, it's a bunch of numbers there. I mean, you've got Iowa State in here, Kansas, Texas Tech, Houston, Oklahoma. I wouldn't say they're TCU. They're not being underrated in this. Tennessee versus Houston, neutral site. Who do I got? Tennessee. Dayton, underrated team. They're a Sweet 16 team. Sure, they could be with Deron Holmes. Ethan Sylvester says Tristan Newton is the Player of the Year. He's the Player of the Year right now in the Big East. Who will win the Mountain West, in your opinion? I think it's going to be New Mexico. Why is Northwestern not ranked? Asked Charlie, and I don't understand. I have them 14. Who wins the Big 12? I'll say Houston. Is Illinois too high? In the teens is fine. Auburn should not be here. They shouldn't be at 16. I have them outside. They lost 2 in a row on the road. Aztec, San Diego State, yes. I'm in the back part of the top 36. Let's see. If Creighton wins, what seed do I have them? Well, if they win the Big East, yeah, they're going to be in the top 4 for sure. Is Colorado a threat in the Pac-12? Not right now. I think it's ultimately going to be Arizona. How far can Wisconsin go? Asked Brett. And I'm going to say they can get to Phoenix. They can win 4 games. They're deep. They're now athletic. They can score in the post. They defend. They got all the pieces. Yeah, Isaiah asked, New Mexico's on fire right now. 5 straight double-digit wins. I mean, Richard's done an outstanding job. They're healthy. They weren't healthy last year. So I really appreciate everything that he's put together down there. Visited with him in December. Again, what about South Carolina? I have them, have them in my poll. Let's take a couple more that are different. Thoughts on Marquette at 9? I struggled with this. When you get beyond the top 6, 7, all those teams are flawed to some degree. But I just think, and I'm going back to Kansas, at 4-3, it's hard to top 10 right now. Yeah, you say Utah State's not that good, but they keep winning. So it's your definition. But anyway, Swingle's doing a great job at Utah State. No question. Michigan State. I think they're going to be fine. Ranking, whatever, but I think they're going to get in. That's the most important thing right now for them. They're going to be favored and should win next at least 6 or 7. We'll see if it happens. Why is there UConn hate? Who's hating on UConn? They're the top team. They're the top seed. I just said Tristan Newton should be a player of the year in the Big East and first team All-American. Not sure where there's hate. Harris Ingham is the transfer of the year. So, no, sorry. It's Dalton Connect. He transferred from Northern Colorado to Tennessee. So that's who it should be. Let's take one more. Well, so those snubs I addressed in the 36. I think Northwestern definitely should be ranked. They're the biggest one. So, all right, we've got about 20 minutes here. Couple reminders. Starting next week, we're going to have weekly brackets. So throughout the whole month of February and early March, weekly brackets. So in addition to our Monday AP Top 25 poll reaction, that'll be Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Then on Tuesdays, we will do a bracket reaction. So you can ask me plenty of questions about our bracket. That'll be every Monday, Tuesday for the rest of the regular season. So the month of February and the first week of March. As always, you can follow me at the Andy Katz on X, Twitter, whatever you prefer to call it, and at the Real Andy Katz on Instagram. Follow all our coverage on the March Madness MBB on social media. Of course, Bleacher Report right here and NCAA.com.